Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at some nice new stuff that's arrived from Knife Guy SA. This is what I believe to be a rather large Schrade SCHF 52. So this falls part of Schrade's sort of outdoor line of fixed blade knives, which makes them quite interesting for use sort of in the outdoor environments. But what is really cool is along with this came this little pack over here of playing cards, which turns out to be Wee Knife playing cards. So just to show you guys how cool that is. And I mean, this, I wasn't expecting this, but this is just a customized pack of playing cards with all the different Wee Knife models on, which is quite different and unusual, I must say. I kind of like that. So yeah, that's just something really interesting that I received along with a Schrade from Knife Guy. So thank you for that. I will check into this, and it's quite interesting to see. And interestingly enough, I actually don't even have a set of playing cards anywhere around the house. So that's pretty cool to have. But anyway, back onto the Schrade, the usual sort of grey and green box, well known for Schrade products, the usual sort of warnings, etc. But let's get into the box and see the interesting stuff. So I'm not doing the review on the usual sort of material backdrop because this knife is just too big to fit on there, and I do actually need to create a new backdrop. So let me just get this box out of the way here. Let's just see, maybe it would fit with my maybe let's just see. I have ordered a proper mat for doing these reviews. That should arrive over the next couple of days. So I just use this to get rid of any glare on the video, etc. from the lighting. So there you have this really large sheath. Now, I've never been a fan of these sheaths on these knives, but they get the job done. This one, you've got your bits and pieces here, your fire steel, your ferrocerium rod and striker, and you've got your sharpener. But where this is interesting is this knife size itself. This is the larger sort of, I would call it the bush bashing version of the SCHF 51. So larger, more practical outdoor sort of knife. Again, it's got that really thick spine to be able to get into chopping or any sort of heavier tasks. This is made out of 1095 steel. So it's a high carbon steel coated to make sure that rust doesn't set in. And it's this jimping, again, it's got the same feel of the SCHF 51 that I have reviewed in the past. The only difference is this knife is obviously a hell of a lot larger than that one. So I think the next step is what we need to do is we need to take a look at the spec of this knife online. And then I'll just conclude the video with a short sort of rundown of the things that I like about it. We can even do some of it now, but this has got this really big choil over here so you can choke up quite nicely on that for sort of getting work done, finer work, etc. And then of course you can choke back onto the handle with this extra bit sticking out. You put a lanyard on, and that's going to give you a lot of chopping leverage. We'll get this out on the weekend and see how she performs for chopping some wood, etc. It'll be an interesting comparison to see how it stacks up. I do have a couple of axes that I need to test, so ideally do it at the same time. Hey everybody, so here we've got the Schrade SCHF 52. Out in the outdoors, it's a bit too big for the bench, that's why we came out here. Let's just get in the box now. Look, I've already removed the plastic, etc. inside, so let's just take a look. This beaut comes from Knife Guy in South Africa. They always do the Schrade blades. They're one of the suppliers that I found in SA that often stocks the Schrade knives. And it's just nice to play around with these. I mean, these are big boys. So let's just get in a little bit closer. Right, yeah, we have the knife itself. Snap clip. The sheath, let's just talk about the sheath. I'm not a fan of these sort of sheaths, but for this sort of purpose, it's probably all right. You've got a sharpening stone, and you've got a ferrocerium rod and a striker for fire starting. And then the reason for this review, the knife itself. So the Schrade SCHF 52 is pretty much the larger bush knife version of the SCHF 51. The SCHF 36, also one of my favorites, but this guy is an absolute monster. It's a beast of a knife. I mean, look at the size of that. You can imagine the sort of leverage you're going to get in chopping, etc. You can choke up quite high because of this big section. You can almost put 2 fingers into there, choke up and do like lightweight carving, or you can get right back on the grip like that, and you've got tremendous chopping power with this, with quite a bit of weight as well. So it's definitely going to do quite a bit of hard use work. This thing is definitely going to stack up for any sort of outdoor activities that you're thinking of doing, or anything where you think you might need a larger, sort of heavier duty knife. This is definitely the one to go for. So my thoughts on this: Schrade have got a range of really cool blades, starting with the SCHF 36. I never had the 36 standard with this sort of handle. I had the 36 Makata. I absolutely loved that knife. It did a lot of work for me, and I soon upgraded, got the SCHF 51. That went a while with me. I now have the SCHF 56 for bushcraft, and I've upgraded my 51 to this 52 for my heavier sort of bush knife. It's really going to stand out, and I think it's going to definitely suit the purpose very well for the sort of outdoor activities that I like to do. So guys, yeah, that's pretty much it for this. We'll jump onto the technical spec of this knife now. Go check it out on the website, and of course have a look at Knife Guy's site where this was purchased from. So if you guys are interested, you can reach out to them. I do believe they are out of stock, but they do quite oftentimes get new stock of the Schrade series knives in. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Let's hit the technical spec of this knife online now. Right, so here we're taking a look at a bit of the online presence of it. So this is the Knife Guy website, the knifeguy.co.za. So this is where this knife was purchased from. Let's just show what they show on the site for this knife. As you can see there, we have the SCHF 52. It is now sold out. So unfortunately, guys, I grabbed the last one that I think is currently in South Africa. Maybe there's more floating around, I don't know. So they talk about, brandishing the heft and strength of 1095 carbon steel. The SCH 52 offers outdoor enthusiasts a knife eager to take on the rigors of the backcountry. So it's a really large knife, to be honest with you. So let's just dive into the technical specifications. So the blade length on this is 17.88 centimeters. The overall length is 32.99 centimeters. The blade material is 1095 carbon steel. It is finished in a black powder coat. Obviously, because of the 1095 being a high carbon, it can rust. So they need to make sure that that's not going to happen, hence the coating. This is similar to the other SCHF 56 that I have reviewed, with some of the coating scraped off where you can see the rust forming, etc. So it does need to be looked after. The handle material on this is a thermoplastic. I think they spelled something wrong there. Thermoplastic elastomer. Sheath material is polyester. It's made in China. And like I said, can be purchased from Knife Guy when they do have stock. My previous Schrade knives did come from them, and this unit came from them as well, just this being a lot larger. Let's just quickly take a look what the Schrade website shows on this knife itself. So here we have the SCHF 52. As you can see here, pretty much the same details. Let's just read this off here. Schrade Frontier full tang fixed blade knife, 1095 high carbon steel, drop point blade with finger choil, ring textured TPE handle with spine and grip jimping, lanyard hole, black polyester belt sheath with ferro rod and sharpening stone. Then they have the usual sort of P65 warnings, etc. You can see the length and size of this knife. There again with the sheath. I don't think there are a couple of reviews. So A lot of people complaining about the heat treat as not being too good. I have noticed that the steel is pretty soft with a lot of these Schrade knives, so edge retention isn't quite up there along the lines of what you would expect from an outdoor blade. But in so saying, I don't mind having to sharpen. I don't mind softer steels in an outdoor knife, which I'm technically using on softer materials like wood, etc. Then they don't last too bad. But in so saying, like this person reviewed and said, wanted to love the blade. When I use it on some basic camp tasks like batoning into a piece of pine, the top 1/3 of the blade rolled and there were small chips. I don't know what pine he was chopping into. I don't know. So he's complaining about the heat treat. It could have been a bad treat. Another person says it had everything to be perfect. And another person says great value in a heavy duty knife. So I'm guessing it depends what you're doing, how you're doing. I don't know. Bit of mixed reviews over there. So let's take a look at the features that they specify. Not a lot of information there. We've stuff we've already covered. And of course, under the Q&As, a couple of questions and answers. It is $10.95 and it is also a hollow grind. So hollow grind, not traditionally ideal for outdoor knives, but I mean, it could get the job done if it's looked after. Some people looking for Makata versions. What is the thickness of the steel? This is 5.85 millimeters thick, so it is a fairly hefty chunk of steel, which is going to hold up pretty well, in my opinion. So yeah, pretty much that's it, guys. So in the US, I see these are selling out on special at the moment for $35. It's not a lot of money for a pretty decent knife, in my opinion. And in South Africa, of course, you're looking at just over 1,000 Rand for those. And again, great value for money if you can't afford the SEs or the K-Bar, Becker BK2s and the likes, which obviously cost substantially more than these. But let's get this guy in the outdoors now and actually do some testing with it and see how it stacks up, if it holds up, if we do see that edge rolling, etc. And yeah, let's get some actual usage on this guy and see how she performs in the outdoors. I'll see you outside now.
Hey guys, so here we are on the great outdoors. I'm just getting some wood sticks, etc., just so we can do some testing on this bad boy, just chopping. No problems at all. As you can see, goes through that, no issues. I'm not observing any rolling or any sort of damage to the blade. So that's pretty good going so far. Now let's take something a little bit more substantial and chop that up next. Right, so next up, we've got something a little bit more substantial. May require a little bit more chopping to get through it. It's a little bit wet actually. But as you can see, takes care of it, no problem at all. So next up, we just got a bit of light work to do. So choking up, quite nice. You still have nice controls, no issues at all. So you can do fine stuff with this. So technically we could do shavings by get this in a little bit deeper. Not exactly the right wood for this, but you get the gist of it. No problems at all. So yeah, it does come up quite nicely. Batoning with this, I'm not even going to worry about it. It's going to be no issue at all. Batoning. Nice knife, all in all actually. Really cool. Nice size as well.
Hey guys, so just to finish up on this review, so there you've seen the Schrade just doing some light chopping and stuff. I've pushed it a little bit further, done some batoning, which is not on camera, unfortunately. The weather did change, so I had to get back indoors. And after a bit of a cleanup, the blade looks pretty much as good as new. So this coating, besides being a little bit tacky, a bit of a wipe off, and everything is as good as new now. Really, really impressed by the blade retention. I'm not observing any folding or anything like that on the knife. Despite chopping through quite a bit, it's still going quite strong. So I know there were some discussions about edge retention and soft steel and stuff like that. However, I'm not sure if that was a specific range that experienced that problem, or what the case may be. I'm not sure. Look, this was never shaving sharp, but even through all of that, no problems at all. It's still going to go through paper. It's never been a razor blade, but it's still sharp enough. So quite impressed with the Schrade. I guess time will tell. We will do a follow-up review on this knife just to see how it stacks up with long-term use, chopping, batoning, bushwork, bushcraft, whatever the case may be. This is not a bushcraft knife, guys. We need to specify that up front. This is a outdoor survival blade. It's designed along the lines of the SE, probably the SE6, or the Becker BK7 or BK9. So it sits up there with a slightly longer blade, a little bit more of a powerful chopper for all intents and purposes. So guys, that's it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the Schrade SCHF 52. We'll be doing quite a few more reviews over the next couple of weeks. So please keep subscribing, keep watching, and have a fantastic week ahead. Cheers for now, everyone.